Hey guys, it's Ryan from Relic Guitars here, and we're up at the Fender booth at NAMM 2020, and we've got Carlos Lopez here. Now, he's one of Fender's newest Masterbuilders, and he's a guy that's really caught our attention this week, so it's really good to meet you, man.
Good to meet you too. How you doing?
Thanks for taking the time to chat to us.
No problem.
So, first NAMM as a Masterbuilder?
Yes.
Yeah? How's it been?
It's been overwhelming.
Yeah?
All the emotions, so
yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. So you know, I got to showcase some of my guitars, the Electric 12, the Marauder, the Brawlers, and this is kind of a culmination of 14 years of building experience.
Yeah.
It's kind of here it is all at once. You know what I mean? So
yeah, man.
These the Marauder's been on my heart for a long time.
Yeah.
Electric 12, the same thing, and the Brawlers has a cool story because I was building these in my garage.
Yeah.
And when I finally got promoted, I was like, I need to bring this to Fender. This seems like a Fender guitar.
Yeah.
So I handed it over, and I'm super proud to do it. And the response on these was really unexpected. So and people like them. So yeah, I want to keep doing them.
So the Brawler is a totally new design, something.
Yeah, I mean it has an element of Strat in there,
yeah,
offset, jazz master type, and
yeah.
you could see the influence of different guitar brands that I like, and so I just put it into it. You know what I mean? It kind of evolved into it because before it was just it was a 25.5-inch scale. This one's a 27. I just think the longer scale just complemented the weird shape.
Absolutely,
so,
man.
Yeah, so I left it like that. So it'll always be a baritone.
Yeah. We absolutely love it, man. I mean, me and Joel, who's filming now, we're always Instagramming pictures to each other, and we saw this come up and we sent it to each other at the same time. We're both like, man, you got to check this out.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you.
Yeah, we absolutely love it.
So the Brawlers, well, this one is a little bit different because the ones that I originally designed, they had the Strat bridge on them.
Yeah.
And the reason why I like the trim on the Brawler, on the baritones, because you just get a subtle little vibrato on it, just a little flavor, just a little something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it works with the baritone. I mean, the tension on the strings, it just gives it a little bit of play. But I think that's all you need. You know what I mean? Almost like a Bigsby, But
absolutely,
so this one has the Curtis Novak. The pickups were, I forget the name, what he calls them, but they're the first generation Bass 6 pickups that we used for just 1 year.
Oh, cool.
And so I decided I'm going to put it on these, and I love it. It's cool. It's different. It's a little bit more twangier than the double humbucker one that I usually do, but it's more options. Yeah.
As a model, is it like a NAMM limited thing, or is it something that you're going to be, building long term?
I want to make it, a production model. I want to. That's the idea behind it, just so it could be more accessible to, different people, a different price range.
Yeah.
And so I think it would be cool, and if I could accomplish that, I think
that would be cool.
It'd be awesome. It's just my stamp on Fender history. Here it is. This is what I've achieved. This is what I've my contribution to Fender.
Yeah.
Always be my name always be attached to this thing. So I think that's cool.
It's something to be proud of, man. Yeah. Definitely. Now let's have a chat about the Marauder, because this is a bit of an obscure one, isn't it?
Yeah. This one is has a lot of mystery behind it.
Yeah.
And all right, the story on this one was I went to go see Matt Vasquez of Delta Spirit out in LA. He was playing.
Yeah. And
I was introduced by Ed McGee, and Ed said, we need to make him a guitar. And so I met Matt. We're talking about guitars, and I said, what do you think about the Marauder? And he was like, I love the Marauder. Let's do something with it. It hasn't really been made since the 60s by Fender, and it was a model that was never made it into production, and it was just kind of forgotten about. And we had an original prototype and just lingering around the shop, and I would pass by it through the halls because it was on display at the Corona factory, and I said to myself, I'm gonna recreate this thing when I become a builder. And I was like maybe 3 years before I became a builder, and I finally got the opportunity. Matt and I kind of we collaborated and we saw eye to eye on it, and he was like throwing ideas around. He was like, what if we put humbuckers on it? Because he saw the Brawler, and he said, I want those pickups on it. I said, let's do it. And then he was like, what about a delay or something on it? And I said, let's do it. So that's how that came about. So this one, I got together with Stan Cody, and he made a delay circuit for this guitar, and I kind of worked around it and had to figure out where to put it. So it's in the back, and so this top control, it activates the delay circuit, and this is the timing and the repeat, the level of delay, on and off, pickup selectors, kill switch, volume tone, and there you have it.
It's an absolute animal, man. I love it.
It was, so back to the 66. So I took that one apart that we had and dissect the whole thing and recreated all the parts. I made all of the parts on the CNC. Now we have all, a true drawing of the 66 Marauder. And so this one is the first one, since '66. And it's a little bit different. It's my take on the Marauder.
Yeah.
The perimeter, all of the hardware is exactly the way that '66 was, and so it was designed also by Gene Fields. And I think if Gene was to see it and what it is now, I think he'd be proud of it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah. Do you find, now that you are a master builder and the team's been expanding, because is there 12 of you now?
Yeah, 13, I think.
13 now.
Yeah.
Do you find that you have to think a little bit more outside the box to kind of find your own space to operate in?
I was thinking about that, and I didn't really put too much thought of, how am I going to outdo all these guys. It was really genuine and natural, because I love guitar, I play guitar.
Yeah.
I love all the builders, that are up and coming, the boutique guys.
Yeah.
It's just a cool time to be a builder, I think.
Yeah.
And so I think you could see my influence, with the whole guitar community and the things that I do. And I follow. I'm a fan too of a lot of the builders, and so this is just what I like. Like the Electric 12.
Yeah.
I like it, and I want to do it, and I'm going to do it. The Marauder, the same thing. It was just sitting on the corner, and nobody paid attention to it, and I was like, well, I'll do it. I'll take on the challenge, and it was a challenge, and I think I nailed it.
Yeah.
People are. You could see the response from it, where people get it.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
It is not because I wanted to just show up anybody. It was just because I want to do it and I like to do it.
Yeah.
The love of it, really. So that's where it comes from. It's the love of it, and I think you could see it. It's nothing.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything pretentious of what I do. It's just I love to do it, really. Yeah.
Yeah. So. I think all of you guys have absolutely knocked it out of the park this year.
Oh, thanks.
Especially all of you kind of newer master builders.
Yeah.
We chatted to Vincent yesterday, saw some of his stuff, and it's next level. So it's good to know that element of the custom shop is in like really safe hands going forward.
Yeah, and you could just see the generation of up and coming builders. As for me, I've always I was trained and guided by a lot of the builders at the shop, like Scott Buell, Todd Krause, Paul Waller, Ron Thorne.
Yeah.
All the builders there have really. I'd pick their brains, when I was up and coming.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of this is the product of the time and knowledge that I gleaned from those guys.
Yeah.
And so it's a cool shop to be in, and it's different from any other shop because we have a history, and we have the veteran guys that have the inside story from the 80s. You know what I mean? Some of them from the 70s. We have a couple of co-workers there has been there since the 60s. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
this is
such
a
rich
career.
history,
This is,
man.
you know,
Yeah.
And so to be in a shop like that is so rich in history, and just to glean from everybody, it just makes us better builders, I think, you know.
Yeah. Were there any particular techniques or little ideas that you kind of picked up from some of the more senior builders that you thought, I've got to like latch onto that?
Yeah, so I think the things that, you know, like the doing contours, like the belly cuts and stuff like that, and how they would do it. When I would do it myself, I would do it differently. But the way these guys do it is just so pro and so fast, and you know, I learned the ways that they do it.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of the relicking techniques, you know, wiring, you know, shaping necks and stuff like that. You know, the way that they do it is so different from how I do it. But you know, the little things we pick up, you know, we use it, and we find our own way how to be, you know, our own builders, I guess. If that makes sense at all. But
Absolutely, man.
yeah, it's an environment where it's like a healthy competition, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're all kind of brothers, and we all help each other out, you know. And it's just like, especially like somebody like Scott Buell has really helped me out in a lot of things. Then has shown me a lot. And, and if you notice here, this is kind of Scott Buell's contribution. These roller switches, you know, they have no screws that are attached to them, and the ones that you know, the original one, they had it, but it's just little details like this where it just looks clean. There's no screws except for these that you wouldn't notice, and if I was to tell you, but they're silver soldered on, and he made some brackets for it just to hold it in place, and it's just details like that, you know, and things that he's shown me how to do, and something that's kind of, you know, you wouldn't expect, but it's a big deal to me, and the details like that.
That's
it's
thing,
it's cool.
Man. It's those little details and those intricacies, the attention to detail that I think kind of keeps Fender Custom Shop guitars just that little bit more.
I think so. I think so.
At the top,
It's there's a lot of, and that's kind of what we all appreciate the details, you know. And just like this, it's okay. You have the pick guard, but you know, I did this on purpose, and it just, you know, I had to make it look like that. You know what I mean? You know, you wouldn't see it like that. Maybe you would wear it like that, but it's just the, you know, the attention to detail and the subtle little details that make this guitar, you know, even better, I think. You know what I mean? Even just like the checking or the little hits or stuff like that. Just sometimes we put, I don't know if we have any, like the white knobs, and if you see right here, we put the dirt in them, you know. It's just the small details that makes the guitar, you know, come alive, and you could really appreciate it when you see it in person. You know?
Absolutely, man. We order a lot of Dale's heavy Relic guitars.
See, he's another influence on everybody in the shop. He's taken the Relic guitar thing to a level where, you know, I don't think we'll ever be able to catch up to him.
It's so authentic.
He's just looking at his
genuine.
guitar, And so I would look at Dale's guitars, and he has like a rack of all of these Relic guitars, and just picking them up and just looking at them, I was like, damn, it's inspiring. It's cool. To be in a shop like that where you're inspired every day is a healthy place to be.
We took a trip there before last year's NAMM, and the vibe there was so cool. You could kind of tell that you're a really tight knit group. Which
we share. I mean, you know, Dale, he shares some of his secrets. You know, Jason, he's just, and they're all have, you know, me personally kind of taken me under their wing and just, you know, showing me things throughout the years, and you know, all the guys. So it's a fun place to be as for a builder. For up and coming builder. So it's
So here's another really important guitar from this year's NAMM. So this is the Eric Johnson Virginia Strat. So fill us in, man.
So this one is the 54 Virginia, and it was modeled after Eric Johnson's 54 Virginia. And so this one, you know, for all of the guitar nerds out there, this one is cool because of all of the details. This is all of the mods that Eric Johnson did to his 54 and recreated it. And this is it, you know, down to the sassafras body, the offset seam. You know, it has this Graphtec saddle, and he used it. And every little mod, he used it for a reason, you know. Yeah. And he heard something that was different, and so he went with it. And so that's the beauty of, you know, somebody that's a player like that you know, modifies his guitar.
Yeah.
It's for a reason. And he built a guitar. He modified a guitar that fits his needs, you know, and it helps him to, you know, to get where he wants, you know, sonically. Yeah. And you know, playability wise, but this one has, you know, flatter radius, 12-inch radius, 6105 frets, and this one has 4A flame neck. Jeez, that's nice, huh? But these little details, like, I don't know if you could see it here, there's a flat washer, you know, underneath the nut here, and he said, you know, he heard something different when he would take it off. Yeah. And so that's what he wants, and he hears it. And that's what he did, and that's what we did too, to recreate it. And this one has it's kind of an aged, you know, it still has a sheen to it, but it's checked all over. It's lightly reliced, you know. And so the cool thing about this one, the pickups, so these are Josefina hand wounds, 54s, right? And this one has the DiMarzio stacked humbucker. And the cool thing about this, that he cut the coil just to make it, you know, like a single coil. And he heard something different. And this guitar doesn't sound like, you know, I play a lot of strats. I make a lot of strats. This one sounds different. This one's unique. And the way that he used it in this position here, it's out of phase right here, and he uses that tone to get these, you know, I forget what he calls it, but it's kind of like a Japanese type of I can't remember the name, but he does it with the flutter with the Floyd, and it's unique. He uses out of phase tone and gets these incredible tones out of it. And you know, this Eric Johnson guitar it's for a lot of players, because he's modified it in a way where for him it helps him to get home, you know, if that makes any sense. Yeah. This is, and the cool thing, the first one that I made for him, he took it out of the case, and it was just like home for him. He took it on tour. He's playing it now, you know, the first one that I made. And so for a player like Eric Johnson to get the guitar out of the case and start touring with it, that says a lot. But yeah, this is the Eric Johnson 54 Virginia. And another cool thing, underneath the pickguard in the control area, all of them have a little piece of tape signed Virginia on it. So even that little detail. So it's a cool guitar. It's a player's guitar. It's anybody's guitar. But you know, this is my first artist model guitar that I got involved in. So this one's special to me, and so I hope people get a chance to play them, and hope it's special to everybody else, I guess, you know.
I'm sure I will be, man. Yeah. Just how involved was Eric in the development of the guitar?
From the beginning. So, you know, we had phone conversations, and I met him at Atwater Studios maybe 6 months ago to do a demo of it, and you know, he was just telling me the whole backstory behind the guitar, and you know, what he did to get it to where he wanted, where he felt comfortable with it. And he did all of the, you know, wiring. He did, you know, a lot of modifications on that. And from what he tells me, he had it where he wanted it. He took it to a luthier, and he cleaned up all of the wires, because he said it was like a rat's nest in there. And so the luthier thought, or the tech thought, that it was, you know, it wasn't, he was doing him a favor, but Eric said that it just messed up his tone and he couldn't get it back. And so I guess that's why he sold it. Yeah. But to recreate this for Eric Johnson, and for him to play it, and for him to be at home with it, is it's a cool thing for me.
Yeah, that's a big deal, man. Yeah, he's an incredible player. So if you're keeping him happy, that's a good deal, man. Brilliant. Well, thanks again for talking to us, man. Guys, keep an eye on the Peach Guitars website, because I'm sure we're going to have some of Carlos's guitars in at some point. And until then, we'll see you next time. Cheers.